Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 BMW X5 xDrive 40i and the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450 4MATIC. I borrowed both of these from Hendrick BMW and Hendrick Mini, so take a look at their websites down in the description below, along with full detailed reviews that we have made with both of these models. So let's start off with the starting MSRPs. For this Mercedes-Benz, they start right around $72,000 versus closer to $68,000 for the BMW. So just depending on how you spec these, they can be similarly priced. Now for the Mercedes, this has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to a 9-speed automatic, pumps out 375 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. For the BMW, this has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine as well, paired to a 48-volt hybrid system along with an 8-speed automatic, and it now pumps out 375 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. They're both also all-wheel drive as well, and their 0 to 60 times are going to be similar. Closer to 5 seconds for the X5, 5.3 seconds for the Mercedes. They both have a top speed of 130 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 19 in the city and 25 on the highway for the Mercedes, and then 23 and 27. And with towing, you're at 6,600 pounds roughly for the BMW, closer to 7,700 pounds for the Mercedes. So let's move on to the exterior styling now, where we have a much different look. For the Mercedes badge is also the distance sensor, very large too. There's a forward camera underneath that, along with all the parking sensors, LEDs for all of the lighting, lots of trim accents in the lower section too. And then with the BMW, you have the kidney design for the grille. Sensor is in the lower section. This model also has a forward-facing camera with all the parking sensors, and then lots of cutouts, LEDs for the lighting too, and then some subtle lines down the hood, which you can see slightly for the Mercedes. The Mercedes also looks like it's a little bit taller just from the angles of it, but I think both have a really nice front end design. And as we work our way to the side, wheel options are going to vary, but here are the wheels for both of these models. You'll notice too that the Mercedes has body colored fender flares versus plastic for the X5. There is this trim accent too just behind that, and then more plastic and some brushed accents in the lower side skirt versus being body colored for the Mercedes. Now both of these models do have a full moonroof, so you'll notice that with the black roof racks versus the brushed accents for the X5. And then in terms of the side design, a little bit similar, but you do have a different line shape for the X5 versus on the Mercedes. Everything just flows maybe a little bit smoother. You have some more crisper angles for the BMW. But in back, there's a body colored spoiler with the third brake light, wiper blade in the lower section. There's LEDs, all the parking sensors, backup camera, and then as you can tell, this model has the hitch installed, and then there's the exhaust on both sides. And then as we work our way to the BMW, spoiler's a little bit different, but third brake light, wiper blade, very similar. LEDs, you have the backup camera, all the parking sensors. There's no hitch for this model, but that is a package to get the towing hitch, of course. And let's work our way to the cargo space now, where with the BMW, you get the split design with the liftgate. So you can open up the lower section if you need to use that. So you have a little bit of a versatility with that. But in back, you have a lot of space. There's also some storage under the floor where you do get the spare tire. So that is nice to see. There's the cover too. You have some hooks, a 12-volt, and of course you can fold the back seats down to get a little bit more cargo space. And then you have the dual liftgate there to close up. For the Mercedes, you only have the solid liftgate, but both are power operating, of course. And then in back, about the same amount of space. You do get to lift up the floor just like in the BMW. So you have the spare and storage. You have a cargo net on one side. You have the net up top that you can pull down, and then you can fold down the back seats, of course, just like in the BMW. So let's move on to the back seating now. This does have proximity door handles, so you can lock and unlock it. And then very nice trim accents. This gets heated rear seats, Burmester for the audio, lots of leather too. And then a nice design for these back seats. Now you do have quite a lot of storage in the back. At 5'10", I have plenty of space too. There's storage nets, you have vents, a little bit of storage and auxiliaries. And then I have maybe 3 inches of headroom or so. Pretty comfortable. You can be taller than me and fit in the back. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest with cup holders. You can fold down this middle seat individually, and then you have a good bit of visibility with the cargo windows in the back there. So it provides a lot of light and of course additional visibility. Now with the X5, you don't actually have a proximity sensor, but you can unlock it by grabbing the front door handle. You do have to have it set up where it will unlock the back door handles, which is nice. Now this model has a very nice interior too. We have some brushed accents, wood trim, interior lighting, and then storage in the lower section. And then interiors, of course, are going to differ depending on your personal taste. But you'll notice we don't have as much space down below. So this seat is much closer to the console area there. And obviously you can adjust the front seats too, but definitely a lot more legroom in the Mercedes. You do have storage pockets. You have an area you can place in charged tablets. You have vents in the middle, climate adjustments, and heated seats too. So the climate adjustments is a step up in here. You have storage and auxiliaries down below, and then about the same amount of headroom. So I could sit upright, be comfortable in the back, of course. You do get an armrest with a little bit of storage and cup holders. So you can just pop these out of the end here. And then you can also fold down this middle seat, just like in the Mercedes. Now I will say that window there is kind of about the same shape as the Mercedes, but you can still easily see around. Now since I have full detailed reviews, I'll just highlight some of the key factors here. So you have memory seating adjustments. This model also has the ability to change the front passenger seat by pushing on that button. We have the window control, side mirror adjustments, more storage too, and then a nice design for the front seats. Now to start this up, that button's down below, where we have the leather steering wheel, paddle shifters too, cruise control, volume tuning, Bluetooth, all of those adjustments. And then you have some information that you can go through in the gauge cluster here, even augmented reality. So you can pull up that forward camera system to go through. You have a few different layouts that you can adjust as well. And then you can also get into the head-up display as needed. Now you have some headlight adjustments, a little bit of storage. There's one air vent. This model has leather for the entire dash, and then you have quite a lot that you can go through within the infotainment system. Everything in the lower section is going to be fixed, so you can quickly get into it. You have a lot of icons that you can scroll through. You can quickly get into all of your climate adjustments, the navigation and music, and then this model has heated and ventilated seats along with a heated steering wheel. You have power and volume, tuning adjustments, wireless charging with auxiliaries, cup holders, and storage. And then you do have adjustments for that screen. So you don't have to use it as a touch screen system, which is nice. This model also gets parallel parking, and you do have the 360 view. So you can go through all of these angles just depending on what you need to see. So you have no shortage of visibility there. You have park on the backside, traction control, and then a few different driving modes too. So just depending on the response that you want and the graphics, you can easily do that. You have the e-brake, auto hold, downhill assist, some storage with auxiliaries. You get plenty of storage in the glove box along with an illuminating light there. And then there's garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and adjustments for that sunshade and sunroof. And then a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Pretty easy to see, like I mentioned. You have large glass in the back here so you can see around. Now, as we work our way to the Mercedes, very nice door panel where you have your heated and ventilated seat controls on the door itself, along with all the adjustments, power folding side mirrors, window controls, just like you saw in the BMW, and then nice interior for this model too. Now this start button is located down below here, where you also have engine start stop right next to that. Leather steering wheel, paddle shifters, all of the cruise control settings on this left side, right side. You have some similar shortcuts like Bluetooth favorites, volume, and some voice commands there. And then you have these controls on the top to further go through all this information. So for the Mercedes, I think you have a lot more that you can go through. You have different configurations here, similar to the BMW. However, you have a lot more that you can access here, especially with the graphics and the different modes. And then you can also adjust how you want the head-up display to be. So all of these settings are what will pop up on that screen, just depending on what you would like to see. So very nice, kind of similar, but you have some good amount of information there. All the headlight adjustments, there's no storage here. You have interior lighting, just like the BMW. And then with the infotainment system, it is touchscreen. So you can swipe through all of these apps, just depending on what you'd like to see. And then you can also either use controls down below, so you have this trackpad you can use, or you can use buttons on the right side of the steering wheel. So you can quickly do that from here and go through the rest of this information. So I'd say it's probably as configurable. You have quite a lot that you can go through, which is nice. You have a lot of air vents underneath that, and then some physical controls for all of your climate and temperature adjustments. Now there's wireless charging with auxiliaries and cup holders, which are heated or cooled, so depending on the drinks that you have. And then you have some controls down below where you have more shortcuts for this screen. So just like on the BMW, you can gain access to all of this information just by using the shortcuts down below. There are also different driving modes, so just like in the BMW, except you get an off-road setting with this model here. And then you have a little bit of storage. You have some auxiliaries with the center armrest there, along with plenty of storage in the glove box. And then up top, there's garage door buttons. You do have dome lights and controls for the sunshade and sunroof. And then maybe a little bit of a bigger pillar there compared to the BMW, but visibility overall is going to be fairly similar. You have this line here versus on the BMW where you have the entire window there. So maybe a little bit better in that. But with the exteriors and interiors wrapped up, let's get both of these out on the road, see how they drive. And we'll start off behind the wheel for the Mercedes, where I have it in sport mode, second gear. We'll give it a minor acceleration. And just like that, this has a lot more potential, of course, but very smooth in the shifts too, and it definitely has plenty of power. From my personal experience with my X5, having a similar amount of power with this, it's definitely going to have plenty for you. Now, what I didn't mention earlier is that we do have a different stalk for your gear selector. So with the Mercedes, you just go up or down with this stalk on the right side, and then park is on the end of the stalk. But like I think I mentioned earlier, I'm not behind the wheel of the Mercedes-Benz models too often. So it's nice to check this out and just get refreshed with the brand and this model. This is a very nice vehicle to drive. It sits very high up, just like in the X5. I think it is a little bit taller, however. And we have a massive head-up display, which I did not see earlier. It's probably a good 1.5 feet or so wide. That is very impressive to see. It's showing the navigation right now with whatever is currently set up. So it's nice to see that you can have that with a huge graphic in front of you. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that or not, but very nice to see some tech features like that. But its overall ride seems very smooth. I don't think we have any adaptive suspension settings for this model, but for the short test drive today, it's very smooth and quiet. From the Mercedes I have been able to drive, it's definitely going to give you a nice, relaxing feel. I like these grab handles too on both sides, kind of a nice spot to have those. Seating position is really nice, and it's a great vehicle to drive. So if you're looking for a luxury focused vehicle that has a lot of tech, we have a lot of physical buttons down below, which I know a lot of people like. This is a great option to go with. So let's hop into the X5 and see the differences. And we're still in sport mode, second gear. Here we go. And with a mild acceleration, we're up to speed. And again, the paddles are very responsive. I like how BMW can incorporate some of those performance aspects to even non-performance oriented models like this. So you have them, they're functional. I enjoy using them when I'm behind the wheel. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the latest model for the X5. This is a very popular SUV from BMW. I think, however, the X3 has outsold it in the last year or so. And speaking of X3, we have one coming up to our left here. So you'll be able to tell this is a much larger vehicle than the X3 there, but both are super nice vehicles. And it's just a very comfortable vehicle to drive. I like all of the features that it has to offer too. You have so many different trim levels and options that you can go with depending on how you would like to spec your SUV. So lots to do with these vehicles, colors, interiors, everything. You have a lot. And it's just going to give you that luxury focused ride with a good sized vehicle too. It's even comfortable to be a passenger in the back seats. So back from our test drives now with the BMW X5 and the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. I know those were quick test drives, but you can take a look at the full detailed reviews for more driving impressions. Honestly, both of these are very nice luxury-focused SUVs. Just depends on which exterior and interior you like more. I own an X5, so I'm not trying to be biased towards the X5. I think the Mercedes is a really nice option. It can tow more versus its competitor here, but you can also go with some higher trim levels with the X5 to tow even more to be equal to the Mercedes. So really just depends on which one you like more and why. Comment down below. I think I would stick with my BMW. I'm not around Mercedes-Benz all that often. I think they have some really nice tech features though as well. So comment down below, would you rather have the BMW or would you go with the Mercedes-Benz? If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.